Hi everyone. So we are going to do design drawing inspired on Sanford Bigger's the most important symbol that he creates in the show, at least in this show on Quilts, is the star. It is inspired on the North Star as a point of orientation, as an object to find ourselves to the north. And during the Underground Railroad, people who were escaping slavery used the stars, and word has it that it was the North Star to find the north. You know, to know what that you were going north. So, so we will create a star, and this is the example of it. And I'm gonna walk you through the design of the star. It's quite a simple thing. And then we are going to think of the objects or things that inspire us, especially in these times where things have been quite rough for us. We've been kind of isolated. And what objects gives us hope? Here I drew my jarana. Is a type of ukulele or guitar. Um, but would like you to start thinking of what objects are important to you. So we're gonna draw them or write the words of those objects around our star. And then we're going to do a type of mosaic, not of a quilt, but this time we'll take a step further and create mosaics inspired on the Islamic world. In Spain, in the city of Cordoba, there are these beautiful mosaics, always with a little object inside, as if the object is an inspiring thing. Sometimes it's an animal. So that's what we will do. We'll create a mosaic. In your materials, you will have a lot of these little squares, these little squares, which I'll show you later. I would like you to take out the materials you have and put them around your paper, okay? We need glue. We need glue. I like to use a little cup to put glue and a stick, and to glue around our star. If you have a glue stick, or if you have a bottle of glue where you can put the glue like that from the bottle, that works perfectly fine. Okay? We need highlighters or markers, but the beginning will be just a pencil. Okay? I'm not too crazy about erasing things. So you don't really need um, an eraser. Basically, you can draw over the line. We start with a light line, and then we'll do a heavier line. Or when we use the marker, then that will take over. Okay.
So Aurelio, we just need paper, right? So paper is one of the things that we need.
Yes, thank you,
Patrick. So just that one sheet of paper, like a regular size sheet, is okay.
Yeah, that's a good size. The size on the packet is good. Any size of paper, your notebook paper, that's fine. It's a little smaller, but any paper, and we need a pencil. Yeah, we need the pencil, any size of pencil. Markers, this is what I have. I have these wonderful markers. Oh my God. So I'm gonna move the camera a little bit, and I will get you ready. It's gonna focus on my table. Okay, so give me a moment.
And as you gather your materials, if you need to go get them from elsewhere, or if you have them in front of you, just to let all of you know, we are recording this as we do all of our online family affairs, and we'll be putting it on our website afterwards. You can always check out how to do this activity if there's anything you miss or want to go back and rewatch.
Okay, I'm having a problem switching my
Okay. There we go. Perfect.
Looks good.
Let me just move it a little bit lower because it looks too high.
It's pretty good now. You can see it.
I like it because you can also see the materials.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Looks good.
All right. So basically, this is my setup of the little squares. If you have the package, you will have stickers, which are very handy. We have larger squares. So those allow you to have a handy. We have these beautiful ovals also. So we put them around right on the verges of your paper. What else? The glue is here and ready for me to use. So I'm gonna put it on this side. So the first thing will be then to draw, okay? I'm not sure why I'm not pinned, but anyway, if you can see my image is perfect. Is that in the middle?
Yeah, it is now.
Great, looks great.
Okay. All right, so the first thing we're going to do in this, I want you to feel the paper. The surface of the paper is very important. It's like space. Now, if you have a larger paper, the middle is where your star will be, pretty much in this area. We're gonna make our first triangle pretty big, okay? So I would like you just to, oops, this is another one. I would like you just to make a large, as big as you can in the center of your paper, okay? And it doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it's a triangle, then we are in good business. Yay.
Sounds good. All right, I have my triangle.
Very nice. Now, I want you to cut this triangle, the top, I want you to cut it like this. Yeah?
Yeah.
But
So put another line in there, almost that makes a smaller triangle at the top.
yeah, and now you're gonna extend the line far out.
Okay.
Okay? And then you're gonna extend the line the other way. This is really cool, because then that will help you create the other triangle. And then you're going to go down and down. I mean, it's not that perfect. This is kind of smaller than the other ones. It's fine, okay?
So you're really doing two triangles.
Two triangles. So now we have a star. This is the simplest and easiest and most beautiful way to make a star. And you did a pretty good job, Nell. You actually did a bigger triangle. In any rate, I want you to do a second triangle parallel to the first triangle we made, like a second line like this.
Okay.
Whoop, I kind of went over like this.
Oh, I went over too. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'm not even going to erase it.
It just gives a little bit of space.
So I'm kind of just drawing parallel lines that are outside those lines, or I'm almost making two bigger triangles outside of the triangles that I have.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Neil. And then we're gonna do that in the second triangle.
Perfect. Okay, so I did one bigger triangle, and now I'm gonna do the other one.
Yeah. Mine, this one came out a little bit, so I'm gonna extend it a little bit more and give it like that. Great. Now we're gonna add triangles in each, not triangles, but pointy lines. It's just an angle like this in between. Okay. And then a second one like this.
Okay, so first, yeah. So here I'm gonna do two lines like that, and then I'm gonna make another smaller one. Yep.
Perfect. And then go to the next one here and add another little. So our star will have a lot of rays, okay? Perfect. So you go on each space where you can create another, how would you call it? It's like half of the triangle, right?
Yeah, it's almost like it's another triangle that's hidden. The bottom of it is hidden behind the star that you have.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, thank you, Nell. That's very helpful. So we're gonna do that next in the next one. So we're going to go clockwise. we're going clockwise and just trying to do all the triangles that we can fit in there. And then the next one is right here. And the final one is right here.
Great. And I'll mention too, and we might say this later, but to anybody joining us, while your audio and video are not turned on, so you can see us, but we can't see you, you can always feel free to ask any questions if you need clarification on anything through the chat function.
Okay.
All right.
So now we are
Thank you.
very good, Nell. Can I see yours, Patrick?
I'm showing it. I'm holding it up.
I guess my camera doesn't allow to do this. So.
Oh, it might be because you're pinned. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
I
was able.
I can see it. He followed your instructions.
Yep.
Okay. Very good. So as long as he's doing fine, then we're okay.
Yep. Thanks, Aurelio.
Now we are going to do. We're going to trace with different markers our star. So that will be our next, and that's just fun to do. Just tracing our entire star with different colors. If you have different colors, you can do one, or you can do change colors every time you can. I'm gonna change to green. So our star really becomes a very beautiful, colorful entity.
Oh, yeah.
So we have the two triangles, and then we can, I love pink, so I'm gonna do pink color of some pink color.
My highlighter is very bright, which I think is actually great for the star.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's perfect. Yes. Blue. I got these great colors. And maybe my last color will be green. Ooh. Okay. The next step will be to think about 5 objects, 5 things that are, or 1 or 2, a number of objects that you think are important in your life, especially now. So we can write them on the side. Can you think of one? The violin I play is a very inspiring thing. So I'm gonna write the word violin.
And so you can write this on the back or on another piece of paper?
You can, or on the back of the paper. It's better like use another little piece of paper if you have.
Okay, I'm gonna grab one.
I realized that I didn't do. I didn't ask, but it doesn't have to be. I just say for practicality to think of one or 2 objects. Another object that is important to me is art.
And of course, if you're joining us with your family, you can talk to each other about what you feel like your objects are, see if maybe you have any in common. You could make a list all together.
I'm going to write Mama in Spanish. My mother is very important to me. Love. And recently I've been making stories about an octopus. So I'm going to write octopus. It has given me a lot of guidance.
So it isn't just like things or objects. It's also people and maybe even
Yeah,
maybe even
people.
like things you do, like rituals or activities that you do that have been really important to you.
Yes, thank you, Pat, because then the word art is an important, you know, school can be also a very, if that's important to you.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and I'm doing some activities too. So for some of them, I can think right away of how I would draw it, but some I'm just gonna have to figure out.
yeah, so what you can do, you can draw and put all the things in the center or put some whatever space you have. I'm gonna draw my violin. It has like these beautiful things. So just draw anything that you like if you can right away.
So we
And
should choose some things from our list, and then we're going to draw those beginning with that first space where you just drew the guitar or the
yes,
instrument. We're gonna draw into these spaces the things that have been very important to us. Is that right,
yeah,
Aurelia? Okay.
Great.
yeah. So anything that is meaningful to you, we're going to draw it or write the word if you feel like you can draw it. I think it's just very simple drawing that you like or a symbol of what you think it is. Like for love, the word love, what is a good symbol for the word love?
A heart.
Yay!
A heart.
So we can do hearts here
Perfect.
and we can do another heart here. Um, the octopus that I've been drawing, I've been making stories about it. It's a beautiful creature. I discover more and more about it. I'm very excited as I write this story. So I'm gonna draw my octopus right here.
Cool.
Does the octopus have a name?
Hello.
Awesome.
I started mine out. I immediately thought of the plants that I've been trying to grow for the first time over the last year or so. So I put that in the middle.
Oh, that is awesome. And I love that you did the heart right at the center.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm
I
thinking about
write the
the triangle.
art here and the word art here.
I also drew an instrument in the middle. I drew a guitar in the middle.
Oh, you play the guitar.
Yeah, so I drew that in the middle.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Rather than try to draw an instrument, I drew these musical notes. And then I think in this other one, I might write the word music. And Aurelia, we have about 10 more minutes.
Okay, so the sun is coming on the side, so I'm gonna move my table a little. Oh my God. Okay, so what we'll do next is then we're going to start doing that mosaic of these little squares. Now, the key of the mosaic is that the squares are not together, but they are spaced. So one thing that we can do is start gluing it right away and just lay the squares in different colors and going just by instinct and going around. The other way is to actually lay it first down and then make the design. But in order just to do a little bit of a quicker job, I'm going to just put glue on the areas where I'm gonna start working. So I'm gonna put glue all around the first space of the triangle where the parallel lines, and I'm gonna put glue.
So I'm using my glue stick. And also, so if you're not quite done drawing and writing in your star, you can keep going and check back on how to do this later, or you can take a pause, join us in doing the mosaic, and then finish later. And we would also, if you would like to share with us in the chat any of the things that were on your list that you were drawing or writing, we would love to hear.
I will say that if you are not finished with the drawings inside, it would be good to do the mosaic and then do on your own pace. Yeah, so I put glue on the first part and then I'm gonna start putting these little squares. And, you know, they are not touching each other. There's a space in between them. That's what makes mosaics really beautiful, that space. So I'm gonna put down there.
And for anyone who is unable to do the materials pickup or don't have the little squares, I am using an old magazine and cutting my own little squares. So that's always an option. I'm gonna see what it looks like.
You can cut stripes and then cut little squares using a magazine color, any photograph that is got.
Yeah.
In our kit, there is these beautiful mirrors that I like to put them right on the corners of the triangles. So I'm gonna put them there. Oh, I love the orange color. Then I have pink. So all along the lines, we're going to put these little squares, and then that's beginning to become like a mosaic. Very good job, Nell.
With my DIY squares. So you really can do it. And I also used a glue stick. So if you have that, you can just.
Yeah, glue sticks makes the job a little bit easier. Let's see. So you will start with the first triangle, and then you can continue with the second one, whichever way you prefer. And let me put a little bit more glue. So try to vary the colors. So you can make a pattern if you like, and that works. Or you can do it like I'm doing, a little bit like at random as I see them. Let's see, green will go good here. So that would be my first. Nice, very good. So you use only one color now.
Yeah, but I'm gonna see if I can find a different page of the magazine to use other colors.
Oh, okay.
But
great.
those are my shades of blue. Oh yeah,
Now,
here we go. I got this nice.
If you happen to have stickers, then the job would be to put stickers around the star. That will add more richness to it. And can you see my screen well? Is it good light?
Yes,
Okay.
the light's nice. It's just coming in at the edge.
I can see it well. It's very small for me, but anyway.
No, it looks great.
Okay. So the good thing about stickers is that you don't have to use glue, you just put it right there. And I'm putting it in every vertex of the triangles. If you have other things like sequins, I like this, you can also glue that, okay? You can just add it to your composition. There are these bigger oval stickers that will make quite a design if you put one in each corner. So we can do that.
Great. And Aurelia, we have just about 5 more minutes.
Okay, so we are doing quite well with this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a green here. So if you're a little bit limited with colors, you can cut them and add different forms around your star. If you have this kit, which makes life easier, you can just, put it right on the paper. Take out the paper and stick it right there. There can be plenty of work of things to do. We can color the center. We can leave it blank. We can highlight the different drawings. And that I can do now before I finish. Let's see, blue, oh, good.
Yeah, so really, again, if you were able to get a bag of materials from the museum, you should have some fun stuff like this to add. But I think you can really get creative with anything you might have around. Like I might start cutting shapes out of my magazine and glue those. The background of your collage, I think you could get very creative with.
Yes, in other words, with your markers, you can also create forms. So I can make dots and begin making dots or squares, and add more colorful things to my design. So it doesn't have to be stickers. If we can use your own markers to make it easy. But one thing is that we just continue with the idea of creating shapes or forms along the lines of the triangles. Okay, so it will look a little bit more like a mosaic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change colors and maybe, ooh, I love purple.
I think for me, I know that I'll need more time, so I'm gonna eventually come back to this, and I'm gonna add a lot more of the squares to the triangles, and I think eventually I'm gonna add color to the different drawings of the things within the triangles, and maybe even some text also. Looks great, Nell.
Yeah, and
Yes, I love your electric guitar. Oh my God.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, Patrick, you can take care of like the other triangles and do the signs there. If you have those little colorful squares, then just continue doing that.
Yeah.
You can color it. I will say that the lighter the center is, the more this mosaic looks beautiful. If you make this simple, then everything else just grows richer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you, like me and Patrick, you still have more work to do, you can always put them aside because in just a minute we're going to go to our other art activity, and you can pick it back up later. But yeah, Aurelio, any last thoughts or?
No, thank you for joining us. This is exciting to have you here at the Bronx Museum. And yeah, it's great. Thank you, Nell.
Thank you so
Thanks, Aurelio.
much. And you can see in this one, in our family affair flyer for today, which is one of the boxes on the screen, that's one of Sanford Bigger's works, and that's the star that Aurelio was talking about at the beginning and that inspired this whole activity.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Aurelio. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Oh, wait a moment. Let me say goodbye. I will. Well, the camera. Oh.
Hey, there he is.
One more.
There you are.
Thank you.
Bye, Aurelio. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So for anyone who's just tuning in now or who's joining us for the whole hour, now another one of our wonderful artist educators, Edwin, is going to do another half-hour activity. So we'll just bring him in. And this goes for all of the activities that we share through these events, but we would always love to see the work that you do with these activities. So you can email pictures of anything that you make during any of these programs to education@bronxmuseum.org. And I'll say that again later, but hi, Edwin.
Hi, Edwin.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the nice introduction. Wonderful artist educator. That's very nice to say. So
True.
I'm also doing an activity that's inspired by Sanford Biggers, and I have an image that we'll look at a little later. But I wanted to start off with a story that I found. And this is a story that's about quilting, or it's about a quilt. It's about the specific quilt. So I'm going to share my screen.
Now you should be able to.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yep.
Beautiful.
And you can hear me fine, yeah?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this is called The Quilt Story by Tony Johnston and Tommy de Paola. A little girl's mother made the quilt to keep her warm when the snow came down long ago. She stitched the quilt by a yellow flame. Humming all the time, she stitched the tales of falling stars and she stitched the name Abigail. Abigail loved the quilt. She wrapped it round her in the quiet dark and watched the winter skies. Sometimes she saw a falling star. Sometimes Abigail played in the woods near her home. She had tea, her dolls had tea, and the quilt had tea all over it. I think that means that she spilled it. I don't know if you can tell in the picture. Sometimes she pretended the quilt was a gown. She wore it to town on her horse, clop, clop, and it tore. So her mother stitched it up once more. Sometimes she played hide and seek with her sisters. She laughed and cried, "Don't peek," and hid under the quilt, and everyone found her. Sometimes Abigail was sick. She sneezed and sneezed. Then she slept under the quilt, and she felt better. One day, Abigail's family moved far away, across wide rivers and over a rock-hard trail. There's those little white things. Those are the tops of wagons in the picture. The quilt went too, not stuffed in trunks with the blankets and clothes. It kept the little girls warm from the wild winds, warm from the rain, warm from the sparkling nights. They built a new house in the woods. Abigail's father built it with his hatchet. Chop, chop, chop. He built her a new bed. Chip, chip, chip. He made her a new horse too. He worked until curly shavings covered the floor, and everyone sneezed and said, "Welcome home," and was glad, and Abigail felt sad. New house, new horse, new bed. Everything smelled of fresh chops and chips, everything but the quilt. So her mother rocked her, as mothers do, then tucked her in, and Abigail felt at home again under the quilt. One day, when the quilt was very old and very loved, Abigail folded it carefully and put it in the attic. Everyone forgot it was there. A gray mouse came and loved the quilt. Her babies were born on top of it. They grew fat and gray in the warm stuffing. When they got hungry, they ate a falling star. I think the star that they ate was on the quilt. A raccoon came and loved the quilt. She dug a hole in a corner with her black paws and hid an apple there. I don't know if I would like an apple in my quilt. A cat came and loved the quilt. A patchwork cat. It rolled on the stars, and stuffing spilled out like snow. Then the cat curled up in the snow and purred. I think my cat would do something like that. "Kitty, kitty," called a little girl. She found her cat, and she found the quilt, splashed with patterns of sun. The little girl wrapped the quilt round her, and she loved it too. "Can you make it like new?" she asked her mother. So her mother patched the holes. She pushed fresh stuffing in. She stitched long tails on the stars to swish across the quilt again. One day, the little girl's family moved away across miles and miles of pavement and snaking gray highways. They found a new house, freshly cleaned, freshly waxed, freshly painted, white. They unpacked and unpacked all night, and everyone sneezed on cardboard dust and said, "Welcome home," and was glad, and the little girl felt sad. Everything smelled of white paint and boxes, everything but the quilt. So her mother rocked her, as mothers do, then tucked her in, and she felt at home again, under the quilt. The end. That's what Abigail's quilt looked like. So I'm not sure if you could tell, but the quilt is a story about two girls. One was from pioneer days and one from modern times, and they both share the same quilt, but they look very similar. So I thought it might be a little confusing. So I'm gonna stop sharing. Oh no, actually there's other images I want you to see next. So this is one of the images in the exhibition Code Switch that's showing at the museum with the artwork of artist Sanford Biggers. Sanford Biggers used quilts. That's why I chose that story. And you can see that this is a quilt here. But what's special about his way of working is that he takes antique quilts, so it's quilts that have been around for a long time, and he does different things to them on top so that it has some modern history on it. Kind of like in the story, right? We saw that there was something that happened in the past, and then the mother worked on the quilt on modern days. So Sanford Biggers does something like that with his quilts. This one seems to have clouds on it, and it has this sphere that almost looks three-dimensional, right? Sometimes you may have seen like mirror balls. They used to use those in discos long time ago, or some people have them in their houses for fun. And they have lots of little squares that make up the shape like that. So I have a similar activity to do. It's from kind of art that's called op art, where things look like they have clashing patterns, kind of like this. And mine is going to be mostly black and white, similar to this quilt. You'll see what I mean when I show you the next image. So we're going to make something like this. I know it looks a little complicated and probably like very ambitious, but it's mostly a lot of lines. And if we do it together, I think everybody could handle it just fine. So it's really a simple step-by-step that we'll do. So you see that you start off with a circle, and then you make some straight lines, and you're adding curves. And really, as you start building, that's when it starts to look complicated, but we'll do it together, so it'll be fine. So the materials you're gonna need is you'll need some white paper, you'll need a pencil, you will need a ruler, and then really to start off with, you would just need one color. You can use more than one if you'd like, but it's probably best to just start off with one. I'm gonna use black. You could use crayons, you could use markers, you could use colored pencils. Sometimes colored pencils are a little easier in some of the small areas. I'm gonna use markers for mine because I think it'll show up better on the video so that everybody will be able to see much more clearly what I'm working on. So
And I don't know if I have a ruler, so I'm just gonna use the straight edge of a book, I think.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Me
Great
too.
suggestion.
Yeah, me too.
So like Nell and Patrick did not have a ruler handy. If you don't, there are other things that you can do to be creative in order to make straight lines. And your lines also don't have to be perfectly straight, to be honest. It's just that I think some people maybe feel a lot more confident if they have something to make a line with. So I am going to go to my art board, which is I have a piece of board on a wall so that it's much easier for everybody to see. And I'll be about 10 seconds. So I'm going to stop my video and my sound on this, and I'm going to go to my other area.
All right.
Otherwise, it makes a loud noise, which is not nice.
All right. I think I'm going to use a pencil.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to start with the pencil, and maybe then if I have time, I'll use a marker later. Let's see.
And like I said before, we would always love to see photos of anything that you make during these family affair programs, or just to hear any feedback that you have about what you'd like to see from us. So I'm going to put our email address in the chat. It's education@bronxmuseum.org.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Okay.
Okay, great. And now
Yeah.
we can.
There was something weird going on for a second there. Let's see. Are you able to see my paper?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So I can grab my pencil. I have to lean over. So you might not see me most of the time when I'm doing this, or you might see my head at a weird angle and it's going to look huge.
We'll be prepared.
Yes, be prepared. I think I want to turn my paper. Well, this might work better with the view that we have for the video. I know that the thing that I showed everybody at first was vertical, which means this way, but I think this probably fits better in your screen, so I'm going to leave it the way it is. So we're going to start by doing a circle in the middle of the page. If you have something round to trace, you can use that. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be perfect. This process is actually pretty forgiving. So I'm going to do my circle now. Okay. It's a little lopsided, but I think that works.
I'm actually very impressed at my circle, but it's still not perfect.
That is a nice circle.
I'm,
Mine's a
I'm
little
at a weird
ovally.
angle. So now I'm going to make a line from the top to the bottom.
So both of these activities, this and Aurelius, if you joined us for that, we're thinking a lot about shapes and lines. So I guess
Oh.
this line is really kind of cutting the circle in half.
Next, we're going to do another line that's going to go from the left to the right. So we're going to start at one edge and we're going to go to the other edge. Give people a moment to catch up. Okay. Now we're going to start doing a bunch of curved lines, right? So we're going to start off on this side, which is the left side, and we're going to do two curves. So we're going to start at the very top tip, and we're going to have it meet here at the bottom. It's going to be kind of like a letter C. I'm going to make one, and I also want to leave room to make a second.
Okay.
Right? So then I'm going to make my second one, and they both want to meet, you know, at that same point, kind of like where the line was. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I did, but on the opposite side.
Okay. So like two backward C's.
Yes, two backward C's.
Okay.
Okay. So here's where it starts to look really wacky. So what you have to know is that we're really just doing the same thing we did, but we're doing it here and here, right? I'm gonna do, I could probably fit three, but I think I'm just gonna do two just to stay safe and just repeat what we did before. It's a lot easier to fit two in. So I'm gonna go from this corner to the next, right?
Okay.
Like that. See that it's starting to look 3D already. And now I'm going to, because I left a little space like I did when I practiced my other two, I'm gonna do that in the middle. Okay. So again, just going to repeat what I just did, but on the bottom part. So under the straight line, I'm going to make curve. And I'm going to make another curve. And I'm sure you could already see that it's starting to have like that illusion of 3D, of three dimensions, right? It's kind of looking like it's popping out. So what we do next, and this is where the ruler would come in, or your straight edge, is we're going to do grid or do like some lines going vertically and horizontally to make like a checkerboard pattern, or what will turn into a checkerboard pattern. But it's going to look like just a bunch of lines like we have here, only these are going to be straight lines. What you'll notice is that we are going to run into this shape here. So we're going to stop where we run into the shape, okay, and then continue down so that we have this illusion that it's behind it. It'll probably be more obvious when you see me doing it, but I just thought I'd try to explain it first. I'll explain it again as it's happening. So I think I'm going to try to fit about 8 lines across, right? So if you have a ruler, it can help you because you can just like go across and do like 8 lines and measure it equally. But I'm just going to do it freehand, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that looks pretty good. So it doesn't have to be perfect.
Okay.
Now
so
I'm gonna just.
Yeah.
Perfect. Did you have a question?
No, I'm just looking at how many lines I have, and the number that I have will be fine.
Okay. So now we see that we have that issue I was talking about, where we have we're running into the sphere that we made. So I'm gonna make my line and I'm gonna stop when I get to the sphere, and I'm gonna continue it at the other end. So it looks like the sphere is in front of the line. So that way you won't have to erase it. And so anywhere that we run into the sphere, I'm going to do the same thing. Okay.
Yep.
So this one's, not all of them the same exact size. I think that's fine. So now we're going to start working towards making our lines going horizontally, right? So I'm going to try to space them out with some dots like I did when I did the vertical ones. So maybe I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm going to do 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So you'll see that I'm already running into the sphere. So I'm going to stop when I get there, and I'm going to continue the line going across.
And this allowed me to see that I really did not do my sphere in the middle of the paper.
That looks amazing. Good job, Nell.
Patrick,
I'm sure everyone at home also did a great job. So you might be asking yourself, how do I know how to color this, right? I usually start with the sphere in the middle, partially because I think it's probably what we're most excited about, but also what we're probably a little bit most intimidated by, right? In terms of how we're gonna figure out the checker pattern. So I like to start with the 4 that are in the center, because that helps you to kind of figure out the rest of it pretty easily. So you're gonna have to choose one that you're gonna make dark. You could start coloring right away, or you might wanna just figure it out by putting some dots first. I'm just gonna put a couple of dots to help me figure out how to do the first few. So these are going to be the ones I'm going to color in, and these two are going to stay white. I'm going to keep it white. So I'm going to use black because I think it shows up pretty good. But if you want to use another dark color, that's fine too. So we're going to need a dark color and a light color to make our pattern.
Okay.
I'm doing black and white.
That's what I'm gonna do too, because that's what I had handy. I see we had a question in the chat about whether the museum is open. The Bronx Museum is currently open to the public, and as always, we are free admission. We're just asking that guests make a reservation online, which is free to do, so that we know how many to expect and we can keep our numbers down to observe public health protocols. And you can find all that information and get the link to tickets at bronxmuseum.org/visit.
It's a great show. If you can see it in person, I strongly recommend it. So
And we also
now
have
I'm going to
another
make
show
some
up
more
too,
dots.
which we can talk about later, but we do have another exhibit that opened, Charlie Nardo, Breath of Empty Space, that opened on Thursday. So if you come to the museum, you can see 2 shows.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to see that one yet. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so they're alternating or we're coloring them.
Yes. So one will be dark, the next one will be light. That's how we're establishing our pattern. Some people like to plan ahead. I'm doing a little at a time because I think it's more interesting for people who are watching to follow along that way. But I know some people like to know what they're going to expect, you know, as they're working, because that's just how you think. And if you want to go ahead and plan it all and then color it all, that's a fine way to approach it. You have about 5 minutes left, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep coloring mine. I want to get to the checkerboard.
I think I'm gonna quickly use my yellow highlighter for my other color.
Nice.
So it's gonna be very bright again, kind of like that silver disco ball.
Oh, I like the comparison. Almost done with my sphere.
Ooh, that's cool. I'm very happy with my color choice.
Nice.
Nice.
Great.
Ooh, Patrick, is that also a highlighter or is it a pink marker?
It's a pink marker. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so now it's basically the same idea with the background, right? Is that you'll make one light, one dark, one light, one light, one dark, or the other way. I'm gonna start off with dark. And I'm just gonna mark mine off.
Yeah, and Edwin mentioned before, there are a lot of different ways that people like to work. I know the way that I work, I kind of want to be able to see it before I go back and do the detail. So that's why I'm just quickly scribbling in the boxes that I know are going to be. I'm gonna get that.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice way to do it too. And then you can go back in and do it a little more
Yes.
carefully.
But this helps me to see that I'm alternating correctly. I can kind of see how the pattern's going to look. Alrighty, now it's time for me to be a little more detailed.
It might be running like a minute over. I hope that's okay.
That's okay. And again, if you do have to leave right at 3, we'll be posting this video on our website, so you can always check it out after. But hopefully, if you do have to sign off right now, you've at least seen how you want to finish up with these squares.
My markers are very smelly, which is maybe next time I do this, I'll have a window open when I.
Yeah, my marker is kind of running out.
That too. Yeah,
Not,
be a little.
not as dark as I would have liked.
You know, I think the more contrast you have to the difference between the two colors, I think the stronger the effect is. But yeah, having a really nice bold black color is probably really helpful for this.
The other thing you can do is you can use your pencil to make a shadow around it, so make it look like it pops out a little more.
Ooh.
But I would use a pencil and not a marker for this.
Okay.
Because that way it's a little more subtle. And I think I am going to start coloring mine. I probably won't finish before the video finishes, but I think I'll start coloring mine all different colors, but light colors, the white.
Oh, cool.
I think that's what I'm gonna do.
All right.
Ooh. Whoa. That looks so
Doesn't
cool.
doesn't look as pink. Maybe it's the
Nice.
there we go. Yeah. Fairly pink.
Definitely see the pink.
So right, once you got the basic pattern down, you can start to experiment. And
Oh,
maybe you could even use different dark colors and different light colors.
awesome.
And there are definitely a lot of examples of designs like this in Sanford Bigger's work and in a lot of quilts of using some of these optical illusions to create forms with just simple, shapes.
Awesome.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna stop there just for time's sake, because I know that we're a little over, but I'm gonna pull back I have it on the easel. I'm gonna pull that back just so I could put my head in the frame and not have it look super huge. All right, guys, thanks for joining us today. And I hope you come to Family Affair again for one of our future ones and that you get a chance to visit the exhibition in person.
Great.
Thanks a lot, Edwin.
Thank you so much, Edwin. We'll see you
You're
later.
welcome. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Great. So, yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. We really appreciate your coming. We hope you enjoyed whatever art activities you were here for. We'll be putting these online so you can look back or try them again later. Again, we'd love to see pictures of anything you've worked on. You can email those to education@bronxmuseum.org. And look out for our February family affairs. We'll likely be doing 2 in the month of February. So keep an eye on our website. And remember that you'll be able to, if you would like, come and pick up free art materials at the museum leading up to the event. So thank you so much for joining us and have a great Saturday.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.